Hello everyone, this is Body Bags with Feel Good Gaming. We are at our November Edison tournament. Tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Brennan Outlaw from Columbus, Ohio / Jupiter, Florida, and this is my first time playing Edison, so this is great.
All right, cool. How did you do? What did you do?
I went undefeated after Swiss, and then unfortunately, round one of the top cut, got 2-0'd. They just had really, really good hands both times. It was unfortunate, but that's okay. You know, I had a good time.
Cool. Want to show us what you got?
Sure, let's go for it. So I played Blackwings today. Just kind of pretty staple list. Started with 3 Sirocco. Seems pretty good. 3 Shura and 3 Bora as well. These kind of seem like the best draws in the deck, except for maybe Kalut. Just because they play so well in the Black Whirlwind, they're really good to see at like high ratios, and you're really never upset if you see a copy of these cards in your hand. Next up, I also play 3 Blizzard. This plays really well with your extra deck, being able to, use like Icarus Attack to tribute something and then just bring it back next turn to not lose any of the card advantage. I unfortunately was not using this correct all day because I have never played this deck before, so I didn't realize I had a level 5 Synchro in my extra deck, or I could have been making Catastor all day and I just didn't. So
Unbelievable.
The fact I went undefeated after Swiss is kind of very lucky.
Well, you know for next time.
Yeah, I know for next time. 2 Vayu. This also seems correct. I might encourage upping it to 3 just because there were times where I was starving for a Vayu, and I just couldn't get to one. But I understand why it's at 2, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. The 1-up Gale, because it's at 1, I think, in this format, right?
Yes.
It's at 1 in this format. Yep. The 1 Elf and the Raven. Only game I saw this was the only game I dropped in Swiss all day. I was 10-1 in Swiss for the day, and the only game I dropped was because this was the last card in my hand.
Yeah.
If it was literally anything else in my deck that was playable, I just win that game.
Yeah, I think he's one of the more controversial ones.
Yeah, I just like him because I'm nostalgic for Blackwings.
Yeah,
so I played it, but I'd probably just kind of play something else. And then of course Dad.
Of course.
Next up is the traps. So that was the monster ratios. Let's go to the traps. 3 Icarus Attack. That also seems pretty staple. It's a pop 2. You can get your advantage back off of Blizzard. Seems pretty good. Or just normal Vayu.
Classic.
Pop. Yep. 2 D-Prison. I think that's also because it's a 2 in the format. It's a 3? Oh, well, 2 D-Prison seemed fine. You could play it at 3, but 2 seemed fine. Like, I saw it when I needed it.
Yeah.
2 Bottomless. Same thing, like, saw it when I needed it. There were times where it's just like, it was not a good matchup. Like, the decks that I was playing against just don't play into Bottomless super well all the time. Like, they're summoning Deep Sea Diva or Armageddon Knight to kind of start their turn and
just ducking all of it.
Yeah, so you kind of take it out just to, get something more useful in there. The 1 Dust Shoot, because it's Trap Dust Shoot. The 1 Dust Tornado in the main deck. This is one that my friend was roasting me for, but this actually saved me 3 times today, where main decking Dust Tornado came up.
I'm a main deck Dust Tornado truther as well.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, I mean, it popped the Future Fusion going into a game too. Like, they were like, oh, this hand's nuts, Future Fusion. I'm like, no. And they were like, you're main decking that? And then...
If it makes people mad, I think you're doing something
right. Yes, I'd agree. Also, it lets me set the Icarus Attack from my hand, which means it's live on my turn, which actually came up once, which was really interesting.
It matters.
So Compulse at 1 also seems just like a pretty good generic card. I liked it a lot. There are times where it would save me from dying to battle.
Just deals with all the synchros and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good.
Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is a house. Judgment, same reason. It just kind of protects your whole plays. Game 3 in the last round of table 1, my opening hand was unbelievable, and Judgment is what made it unbelievable because it loses to a Heavy Storm until I drew that for turn. And I Starlight Road. Oh wait, no, actually, never mind. Yeah, I had Starlight Road. But still, just in case, the Judgment was there, in case I'm feeling extra spicy. Royal Oppression, also because it's just really, it seems kind of overpowered. I think I only really used it once the entire event. But the one time that I did, it was really nice, and it forced them to use a lot of their resources to make a Caius to out it. In which case then I just had a ton of live back row. The 2 Black Whirlwind, so now we're getting into the spells. 2 Black Whirlwind also seems fine because this card was glued to my hand all day.
Yeah, it's also just at 2.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, I don't know this format.
No, you're fine, buddy.
But yes, no. This was glued to my hand all day, and that might be why I did so
That's
well.
so
But like
great.
every time that my friend who brought me to this, convinced me to play, came over to watch me play, this card was on field or in my opening hand. So maybe that's why I won, is because I just kept seeing this card. But it's just very good. It replaces value, so you normal something, you get another card into your hand.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
one of
don't
those
lose
cards,
the
if you
spot.
can't deal with it, then you're just falling behind. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that definitely came up. There was a game where this was the only card left on my field, no cards in hand. He had a Stardust and I think it was a Caius on board. And I drew a Kalute for turn.
Yeah,
Normal
switch to
Kalute, get Gale. He's just like, yep,
Yeah.
that's it. And he scooped. So, and he even had like a pretty big life point advantage there. So, I wasn't winning that turn, but he
Right.
just knew like as soon as I got that off, it was
for sure.
lights out, because I could just Gale half and then I was good to go. The Book of Moon at 1, main decking this. I really like it in the main deck because there are definitely times where it came up and people aren't ready for it game 1. It saved my Sirocco from the trap card that destroys and then banishes. Yeah, it saved me from a bottle. I don't know. Never remember. Saved me from a bottle to save my Sirocco, and then I had the Deprison set to protect it when he tried to swing into it on the next turn. Heavy Storm, because it's Heavy Storm. Allure, everything in the deck is a dark. You don't really miss the hand advantage too much if you draw well. So, and then sometimes you just really need to see an out.
Yeah.
I only saw it once today, but it was nice when it came up. MST at 1, because the more spell trap hate, the better. It lets you kind of play freely. And then the Brain Control at 1 in the main. I was considering siding this instead. I was convinced that Blackwing was the best deck in the format, so I'd be playing against the Mirror a lot. I only played against the Mirror once today, but this did come up in the Mirror, and it was very, very helpful.
I mean, BrainCon can just win games.
Yeah, it can by
regardless,
itself.
But yeah, I think
I definitely
right.
sided it out a lot when I knew I was going first.
Yeah,
Just because I would rather have a more useful like starter card, like a Royal Oppression or something.
sure.
But yeah, that's the main deck. So getting into the extra, the 2 of Armor Master,
Right.
and then the 2 of Armed Wing. These are just kind of your Blackwing synchro staples. You make them a lot with Vayu. Seems pretty good. There are decks where this card by itself just kind of wins.
Yeah, very true.
Especially like the big dragon decks that bank on just having massive bodies on board. Armor Master on its own just kind of wins games. And then the 1 Silverwind, the Descendant. This didn't come up today at all, but when it does come up, it's really important. So you can use Vayu and
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Dark End Dragon didn't come up today. Seems powerful. Seems like why wouldn't you play it if you have
Right.
extra deck space? Thought Ruler almost came up today. This is actually what ended up beating me in the last round.
Okay.
Was they made this, and then because they made this instead of something else, like a Stardust.
Yeah,
They
so
had
it's
the,
always a choice, right?
they had the 3 bodies engraved for Dad when I cleared it. Because my follow-up hand was great. Like I was like, oh yeah, I can clear this board, no
You
problem.
cleared it into
but
Dad?
Then
Oh,
I cleared
that
it into
sucks.
Dad, and that felt really bad because I could have played around the Dad, but it left me with nothing, and I'm banking on drawing a card before they do. I was just too low in life as well. I couldn't really risk it, so I was like, okay, if he has Dad, he has Dad, and he did. Red Dragon Archfiend also never came up. I don't know if I saw a scenario where it would have been nice, but I mean, why not play it if you can? Stardust, Hard made it once today, Starlight wrote it into it once today. Felt really good in both scenarios. It was kind of a little bit extra when I made it the first time, but it became a very awkward turn for my opponent as soon as I did, and he ended up having to waste 3 cards to out it. He made Absolute Zero after normal summoning Ocean and then using his Miracle Fusion just to suicide crash Absolute Zero into Stardust, and I
Right.
thought that was hilarious because I just had a ton of follow-up.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, that was free value. The Black Rose, it's the, I'm in trouble button.
Right.
Brio, this also came up today in a really nice way. I probably could have not OTK'd, but I could have won that turn if I had used this properly, but I was just overly cautious and forgot that Sirocco says that only he can attack. I thought it said only, he's only Blackwing.
yeah, I
didn't
understand.
realize he would also stop Brio. I need to read the
Gotcha.
cards. But other than that, I was fine. I mean, he had nothing. And then I had to set Judgment. And then Goyo Guardian at 1, also very good. I just made this when I knew that I was just going to have 2 bodies on board and I just needed something bigger.
Yeah. Your favorite card all day.
And then just Catastrophe, the card that I should have been making my normal Blizzard summon Kalute, but never did because I'm an idiot. That actually might have won me my last round in Top Cut if I had done that game 1. And I'm regretting it now, but that's okay. This is for everyone else to succeed with, not me. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, just in case, you know, you never really know, it might come up one day. I was trying to finagle a situation where it would have come up earlier in the event just for fun. They stole my Cyber Dragon.
Oh man, okay.
With Goyo, and I was like, okay, if I top deck a Cyber Dragon, I can make this card, and it'll
Right.
be great. And I ended up drawing the Cyber Dragon the turn after I cleared their Cyber Dragon. I was like, oh no, I was 1 turn away, but I won, so I don't want to complain. But yeah, that was the extra deck. I think it's 14 cards, so if you got another spot, go for it.
Go for Android, fill that fit.
Yeah, Android, there you go, fifth spot.
There you go.
Or it's also like $20. So
What is?
15.
Magical Android.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have it, you have it. I just work here. I don't actually work here. The 3 Fossil Dino on the side. This card it was like the GOAT of going second. Whenever I was going second, I was siding this card in, and there were entire games won because I just set this card at the right time, and they just swing into it. And so now a board of, it was like a Thought Ruler, an Absolute Zero, and a Colossal Fighter.
Oh my god.
Swung into this.
Brutal.
I topped it because I had nothing else. I topped it this, I set this, swings into it, flip, they lose.
Brutal.
Because on the next turn, I just value and then win. But yeah, Fossil Dino is pretty good, especially at 3. The 2 of Cyber Dragon, I sided this in only ever 1 time today, and it actually came up.
Nice.
It actually came up, and I won because of it, and they really weren't expecting it. And you can also make Chimera Tech with it, so it's fun.
Very true.
Into the spells, 2 Noblemen of Crossout, never sided this in. Never really came across a deck that was setting cards much. I don't know the viability of this in this format because I don't know the format.
I got hamsters, Raikos.
Yeah, sure.
Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
there was definitely a match where I played that involved Raikos, and I just kind of figured this wasn't valuable enough in that scenario for me to
Yeah.
deal with it. Siding was the hardest part of this entire event, I'm not gonna lie. Like, siding was really difficult. I could only really comfortably side in like 4 cards.
Yeah, Edison is a hard format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 1 Nobleman of Extermination, I side this in almost every single time I'm going second just because spells and traps are everywhere right now, and being able to clear a lot of them with one into a Blackwing matchup, if I can hit their Icarus attack with this before I put a second body on board, I mean that's
Yeah.
so much value. But yeah, I really like that card. My Body is a Shield. Sided this in once, didn't see it, but it does feel like it would come up. It does seem like there's several times where I could be playing this card like against like a Gemini Spark, where this can clutch up. There was definitely a game that I felt really, really bad about because I just kept playing into these Gemini Sparks. And yeah, it was rough. I think I ended up winning that game, maybe, I don't remember, but I definitely played into Gemini Spark a lot where if I had used My Body as a shield, if I had sided it in during that game,
Yeah.
it just would have been a much easier win.
Yeah, the more I see that card, the more I like it.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people are kind of
I mean,
iffy on
Chain
that,
to
but-
Mirror Force, like there's a lot of cards that kind of stress players out. Like, oh, I see back row, I'm threatened by this.
Right.
Where a card like My Body as a Shield can protect it. Also, I believe so. If you activate a monster that's going to pop 2, I don't know what would. But if there is one,
Like a Celestia?
like an Absolute Zero or something.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Would this? No, it wouldn't. Never mind. Anything that can pop 2, even if it's a monster, you can hit like a Starlight Road
like
or
a
something.
Celestia or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Nice one.
It seems interesting enough. The one of the tornado on the side, I have one on the main, one on the side, just because I like more spell trap hate. I side this in a lot, even if I'm going second, just because a lot of decks have a lot of back row.
Oh, there you go.
Geysaris.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another Royal Oppression, siding one, maining one. Just like with the Dust Tornado, it just seems like it's got some good matchups that it's really good against. Again, I only really saw it once all day, but I'm sure it would have come up in more matchups if I saw it. Pulling the rug at 1. When this came up, it was incredible.
It has hit so many things in
It
this
does.
format.
No, it really does. And I played against a lot of like the normal, the level 2 season. I always forget Diva. I
Yeah.
came across a lot of like normal Diva decks, and this came up. I think I had a Stratos with it though.
Yeah, it's Diva, Stratos, Monarchs,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep. One of my matchups, I actually, they saw this in my hand. I can't remember how they looked at my hand.
Oh, they forget.
It wasn't a virus. It wasn't a virus. It was something else.
Dust shoot?
It was Dust Shoot, yeah, sorry, it was Dust Shoot. And they saw the pulling the rug, and so for the rest of the game, they just never activated anything on normal summon. Like they summoned a Stratos, didn't use it. They summoned Diva, didn't use the effect because they just couldn't because they knew that I had this set.
Right, yeah.
And that actually, I just won that because of just sheer advantage. Like all their advantage generators, they just couldn't use. The one of Starlight Road, this came up pretty big, and unfortunately did not end up saving me in the playoffs, but you know, seems like a pretty good card to play at 1. I'm already playing Stardust, why not? And then the 2 of Deck Devi, never sided this in. I figured you probably would against like frogs or something. I don't know what decks are popular.
Yeah, it's frogs. It's like lights out for frogs.
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
thinking about siding again versus
very
like
steep.
the Deep Sea Diva decks and whatnot, but you know they're playing like Mali and Plague Spreader where they kind of want to be Engrave. So it seemed like it could have been fine, but I feel like I would just rather keep my big body on board for that type of matchup rather than giving them grave damage. But yeah, so that's the deck profile.
Cool. Do you have any shout outs or anything?
Sure, yeah. Yeah,
Mom?
I'll shout out my friend Trey here, William Johnson. He ended
One
up
of our finalists in the previous tournament.
He taught me Edison. He lent me the cards for the deck. He dragged me along here, so I wouldn't have been here or done well if it weren't for him dragging me here. I had a good time though. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't really a problem. And then our team Top Cut, which is our team that we're getting started up here. Me, William Johnson, Brian Dong, and Hunter Lloyd. So,
Awesome. Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Well, hope to see you more.
Yeah, likewise.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much.